Alright, we've got Lego, Mercedes G500, Nifeliz Willys, and finally Mould King Wrangler. 3 Jeep Technic sets, 3 completely different vibes. We already built and reviewed the Lego G500 and the Nifeliz Willys here on our channel, so now it's finally time for Mould King Wrangler. It's larger, it's motorized, and it offers a very different experience from the other two. So while we build the Wrangler, Alan will be comparing it to the Lego and Nifeliz sets in terms of build experience, quality, and features. Let's go!
The Wrangler already feels like a much bigger project with over 700 more pieces than both Lego and Nifeliz. Inside the box we've got numbered bags, separate bags for pins, the motors and electronics, pneumatic components, paper instructions, and a small sticker sheet. One thing that immediately stands out is the size of these tyres. They're noticeably larger than the ones used for both the G500 and the Willys, which gives you a good idea of just how big this model is going to be once it's finished. This is definitely going to be a very different build experience. Before starting the build, I spent a bit of time looking through the instructions, and straight away there were a couple of things that stood out. The first is that Mould King actually recommends testing all the motors and pneumatic components before you even begin building. It's a simple step, but it gives you confidence that everything is working correctly. Another thing I'd recommend is preparing a few containers for your parts. You'll be opening more bags at each stage of the build than Lego and Nifeliz. Keeping the pins, motors, and main parts separated makes the whole process much easier. Just like the Lego and Nifeliz sets, the parts connected smoothly and I didn't run into any issues with clutch power or fitment. The biggest difference is what you're actually building. While the Nifeliz Willys starts with its frame and transmission, and the Lego G500 begins with the foundations of its drivetrain and steering system, the Wrangler is built around its motor from the very first steps, adding the piston engine, the gearbox, and installing the additional motors that bring the model to life. The instructions regularly encourage you to test the functions, making sure everything is operating correctly before moving forward. I really like this approach. One of the most interesting stages was integrating the pneumatic system. This includes the air pumps, switches, air reservoir, and all of the pneumatic tubing. Compared to the Lego G500 and the Nifeliz Willys, this adds another layer of complexity. Before moving on to the front and rear axle sections, the instructions let you choose between building a wheel lock function or a differential lock function. Mould King does explain how to tidy up the wiring, but it comes after most of the mechanism is already built. For me, that's a little too late. Both the Lego G500 and the Nifeliz Willys bodywork gradually grows around the chassis and the model slowly takes shape as you build. The Wrangler takes a completely different approach. You first build a fully functional rolling chassis complete with motors, gearbox, suspension, pneumatics, and wheels. Only then do you start building the upper body as a separate assembly. Once both sections are complete, the body is attached to the chassis to create the finished model. The Wrangler is noticeably bigger than the other two. Across all 3 builds, the attention to detail is actually very good. And it's also worth remembering that these are all based on different vehicles. The Lego is an officially licensed Mercedes G500, the Nifeliz is a classic Jeep Willys style build, and the Mould King is based off the Wrangler Rubicon. Despite being based on different vehicles, all 3 sets actually share quite a few similarities. All of them feature opening doors, opening hoods, and working piston engines hidden underneath. So whichever one you choose, you're still getting that classic Technic experience with plenty of mechanical functions to explore. Where they really start to differ is in how they're designed. The Wrangler uses a modular design, allowing the entire upper body to be removed from the chassis. It's a great way to showcase all the mechanisms hidden underneath. The Lego G500 and Nifeliz Willys take a more traditional approach, with the body permanently built around the chassis. Another noticeable difference is the door configuration. The Wrangler is a 2-door vehicle, while both the G500 and the Willys feature 4 doors. Moving up to the roof, all 3 take a different approach once again. The Wrangler has an open frame design, giving it that classic off-road look. The G500 features a full roof with a sunroof, a storage box, and even a steering knob hidden on top. Meanwhile, the Willys offers the most flexibility. Its roof and doors can be easily removed, transforming it into a fully open-air vehicle. It's called the trail mode. Around the back, all 3 models include a spare wheel mounted externally, which is a nice detail. However, Unlike the G500 and the Willys, the Wrangler doesn't feature a rear opening door. At the front, the Wrangler adds a unique feature, a remote-controlled retractable tow hook that enhances both functionality and playability. The Wrangler suspension is firmer, providing solid support for the larger and heavier model, while Willys offers a softer, more responsive ride. And then there's the G500, which has by far the bounciest suspension of the three. It works smoothly, but it also feels noticeably looser compared to the other two vehicles. Each model has a different engine. The Wrangler features the largest and the most detailed engine here, V8's piston engine that fills the engine bay nicely. The Willys uses a smaller inline 4-piston engine, and the G500 sits between the two with its inline 6-piston engine, totally different design. When it comes to drivetrains and gearboxes, the LEGO G500 and the Nifeliz Willis are surprisingly similar. Both feature high and low range gearing, along with drive, neutral, and reverse modes. The Wrangler goes a different way. Instead of manually selecting driving modes, it uses a motorized 3-speed gearbox with low, medium, and high speed settings, all operated remotely. All three vehicles feature 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and lock-in differentials. However, the Wrangler controls these functions using a pneumatic system. By operating the pneumatic pump and switching the valves, you can engage or disengage the lock-in differentials and switch between 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive modes. The instructions explain how each setup works and what every mode does. In practice, the Wrangler isn't particularly fast, even in its highest gear, but it's powerful enough to tackle inclines and obstacles while giving you a much more interactive experience than the two static models. Our intention here wasn't to pick the best set, but to show that all three offer very different experiences and features. None of them are perfect. In my opinion, the LEGO G500 is the smoothest when it comes to the mechanical functions, but the suspension does feel a little bit too loose and bouncy. The Nifeliz Willis offers a nice trail mode setup, where the doors and roof can be removed easily, which gives it a different character. The mechanics work well overall, although some of the switches do feel a bit loose in use. The Mould King Wrangler is the biggest and the only motorized one. It offers multiple speeds, although even the fastest setting still feels relatively slow. The removable body is a great idea, but it would have been even better if there was a way to lock it more securely once attached, especially when moving the model around.
So yes, overall we can recommend all three sets for LEGO Technic enthusiasts who are looking for 4x4 style builds. And price wise, you can get them for less than £200. I put the link in the description. At the end of the day, it really comes down what you prefer more. Is it static or motorized build? Let us know in a comment. And if you like content like this, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.